welcome to another video. This one is going to be about resetting the focusing game. Imagine that you're in a skill matchup. For example, it can be Widow versus Widow, Tracer versus Tracer, Hanzo versus Hanzo, and so on. And it doesn't really matter which map, which mode, which heroes really. It matters just that it's a skill matchup. Usually it's a skill matchup. Let's imagine that you're getting outplayed all the time. You're getting spawn camped. You're getting farmed basically. You can't do anything about it, and you try and switch, but it still doesn't work. You try different positions, still doesn't work. You try getting some help from your teammates, but you notice that if you take more help from your teammates, the front line might be too weak, or the enemy's core might run over you and so on. And when that happens, it starts to creep under your skin. Like, it feels like it's an itch that you can't scratch, because you try and win the duel, you try and get to a flank and kill the backline, but it doesn't working, and it basically creates some frustration because you set these expectations that you can't meet, essentially. When this happens, it's because you're more results oriented than than process oriented. And what I mean by results oriented is that when you're thinking about the results more than the process, you're thinking about what you want to happen, what will happen, what should happen. But when you're more process oriented, you're thinking about the steps that will take you to the actual goal or to the actual result. So if we take, for example, Tracer versus Tracer on Lijiang Night Market or something, you want to stop a Tracer coming and flanking your backline, for example, and to do that you might want to take a Tracer duel. Let's say you don't have a McCree with you, or the McCree is doing something else, and it's your job to take that duel, but you're getting killed. And instead of thinking about the results, when you think about the results, it might make you play more on autopilot. You might think that you need to be more aggressive, or you might need to do something else, and you play more reactive rather than proactive. And in order to be able to stop the Tracer from coming to your backline and from killing you all the time, you need to be more aware of the steps you need to take. And it's really hard when you're playing on autopilot and when you're losing the focus, because your mind is foggy. You're basically producing less actions and more expectations, and you're putting those expectations on yourself, and you don't really realize it until you become aware of it happening, actually. But that's a thing I'm gonna take later in the vid. So you start playing without thinking. You can't really think, or it's too foggy basically. It's like hard to select one single thought or one clear idea of what you want to do. And in order to regain the focus, it's basically losing the focus. In order to regain the focus, you need to be more focused. You need to be more oriented around the steps that will take you to the goal. And using mindfulness is making it really easy, for example. It's a technique that you will have to practice as much as you practice heroes. And the reason for suggesting mindfulness is because I use it myself when I play. My players, I teach them that. And I've seen it work for others. I've seen it work for myself. It works in any other field outside of esports as well. And the first step to it is accepting that you lose focus. Accepting that it happens, and that you basically have to become aware of what your state of mind is when you're entering this type of situation, when you start playing without thinking and you can't really remember what happened in fights and so on. The second step is that you want to think of when the last time you were in control was. Like, it can be when you felt you were in the zone, when you had a ton of energy rushing through your body, or when it feels like your skin is electric, or you're hitting every shot and so on, or your recalls are on point, you're recalling as Tracer right before something happens and you're outplaying opponents. You can do that by simply closing your eyes, thinking of the last time, and you create this image. You think of the last time you felt it, and you create an image that represents that feeling. It can be whatever. It can be any shape, any color. It can be anything. It's just important to create this type of image, and then once you have something that you know, always will know, represents this feeling, you try and store it in your head and you try and remember it. It's basically gonna be a trigger for you. And once you've remembered it, next step is, once you're in game, once you notice that you're playing without thinking, let's say you've gotten outplayed on Widow 3 times in a row, you're waiting to respawn. While waiting to respawn, close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and when you breathe out, you want to clear everything in your head except that image that you created. Try and remember it, try and find it, and you will find it easier for each time you practice it. And at first it might feel really hard, or you might not even find it the first time, but just keep trying this. And anyways, when you breathe out, take 1 or 2 seconds, keep your eyes closed, and then center on that image, center on that feeling, put that feeling in yourself again, and then open your eyes and stay focused on the process. Focus on the steps to a goal. You set one goal, and then you have set it. You don't really touch that goal anymore. You say, I'm gonna flank here to the back line. Okay, that's it. And then you know exactly what you're gonna do. You do 1, 2, 3, and go in as the team goes in, or whatever. Once you have that, you try your best to stay focused. You try your best to keep that feeling, and you try your best to remind yourself that you have to focus on the steps to a goal rather than only the goal. If you notice that you get back into the state of mind where you focus more on the goal rather than the steps, you just try this again. You close your eyes, breathe in, breathe out, clear your thoughts, and put that feeling in you again. And what this is, you're basically trying and visualizing something. And it's really powerful. You can do it with many different things. You can do it with when you're anxious, when you're tilted, when you're frustrated. If you're having a hard time in anywhere, basically, you can create these triggers and help yourself really easy. Because in the end, no one will know yourself better than yourself. And if you have an understanding of tools like these, you can be really powerful.